All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beer versus Beer. Today I've got two Belgian-style triples. I say Belgian style because neither of them are actually from Belgium. They are both from North America. It's a North America battle. Canada versus the United States. We've got from Unibroue, or Unibroue, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, La Fin du Monde, coming out of Quebec, Chambly. And on the can, this landmass is Quebec. And it will be going up against New Belgium Trippel. Very aptly named, just New Belgium. I don't know how I can't get that to focus. It just says Trippel on it. The lighting is terrible. Anyway, this is bottled and brewed in Fort Collins, Colorado. Now, New Belgium does have a location in Asheville, North Carolina. That's actually very nice. Now, my favorite thing that New Belgium makes, which I can't find in stores, is their, I think it's something like Abbey Ale or something. It's a Grand Cru. Now they call it it's weird because they say it's a Grand Cru, which I take to mean like a quad or, strong dark or dark strong. I always get those two words mixed up about which order. But I take that to be a quad, but they, in their own description on like their menu, it says double. So, I don't know. But anyway, that's like my favorite beer they make, I believe. Let's go ahead and pour these out. Fairly close in content. The Unibroue La Fin du Monde comes in at 9%. They spelled the triple with one P. And then New Belgium's Trippel Belgian style ale comes in at 8.5%. So the La Fin du Monde is definitely the stronger of the two. We'll see how that stacks up in the head-to-head. Get a bit harder pour, see if I can match that head, because that head on the La Fin du Monde is pretty thick, even without hard pour. So try to match that. So this can of La Fin du Monde is one of those 16 point. It's a pint. It's a flat pint. Whereas this is a 12 ounce. Is it 12 ounce? 12 ounce bottle. Acetated because a lot of the German stuff I get comes in, it's like 11.2 because it's like 330 milliliters. So anyway, that's that. Go ahead and pour this out. I believe I first heard of La Fin du Monde on my favorite beer channel on YouTube. If you haven't heard of them, I suggest you check them out. But it's called Beer Brackets with Joe and Alessandro. Joe is from Canada. Alessandro is from Italy. He's half Danish, half Italian, but he lives in Florida. But they do, I think, the best beer content. Especially because they do head-to-heads as well, and they also they do beer reviews and rate them. And that's actually their main thing, is the rating. They both rate a single beer over like 5 categories. And anyway, great stuff. I highly suggest it. I think Joe mentioned this beer on there. I eventually decided I would try it. I typically, when I first started getting into, or started trying Belgians, I wasn't as much into triples. I liked doubles and quads better, and I probably still do. But some triples have grown on me. I've had like the 5 Cents from, what's that brand? Chimay. And there's one, it's an American brewer. I think it's Voodoo Brewing or something, makes one that's really, really good. Anyway, yeah, let's get into it. See if I can get a sense. Definitely smells like a triple. It's got that strong, bright, but also sweet nose. Very similar right now. The Unibroue, the La Fin du Monde, is a little bit less intense, but it might be because of the thicker head and the not quite as apertured glass. You know, the New Belgium has a stronger scent. A little bit more, I don't want to say pungent, but more sharp. And then the Unibroue, a little bit more rounded. Still have that characteristic triple smell. All right, let's go ahead and dig in. Yeah, that's good. And it's got the sweetness with that little bit of hit. And I don't know if it's the alcohol hit, but it does sort of remind me a little bit. Triples often do of a white wine sort of taste and alcohol feel. Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, La Fin du Monde, I believe, is rated on one of the major beer websites. I think it's on Beer Advocate as like the #2 in the world in the style. So if you like triples, you definitely have to try this. I think there's more of a bitterness to La Fin du Monde that I'm getting right now. It's almost like a sour bitterness. I get the feeling on my tongue similar to like if you overeat kiwi, and it not quite like razor blade feelings, but sort of something similar, like a slight tinge that's somewhere between overeating kiwi and testing a 9-volt battery. not that painful, but you know, that similar sort of shock or stinging feeling. But it's bearable. It's not overly done. This is hard. Because the New Belgium, I would say, is less of an intense flavor, so it's the inverse of the scents that I picked up earlier. Yeah, I still get more of a scent on the New Belgium. It's got plenty of flavor, and there is that sort of sourness, bitterness at the end that you expect. But it's a little bit, I don't want to say flat, because it's got a lot of flavor. It's a triple for crying out loud. They're not exactly flat beers. They're very flavorful. But it seems flatter and smoother, I would say, than the La Fin du Monde. Yeah, this is, I would say this is tart. More tart is probably the word I'm looking for. It's also thicker mouthfeel. And that, man, it goes from tart to sour. which are not exactly the same thing, but are related, obviously. Probably need to clean my palate a little bit better between them. It's a really hard battle. I still don't know which one I'm going to go with. I would see reasons for picking either. I think the New Belgium, not that Trippel is a style that you typically even talk about sessionability with, but it probably is the more sessionable one because it is a little bit smoother and less intense on the flavor. It still has a little bit of tartness too, like sort of like a Granny Smith green apple. Or even possibly a crab apple. Huh. It's actually a tough one. Because I like the New Belgian. I like both of these. Not gonna lie. But as I said, it's not a style I typically go for, so I can appreciate triples. But there's things about them I like and things that I really don't care for that much. So it's always like a mixed bag. From memory, I would say I like the Chimay Sanson better. That's their white label. It's not really fair for me to say that without doing side by side because that often reveals things you don't expect. So this is a hard one for me. I also have a fondness for New Belgium because I've been to their brewery a couple times and they make really good stuff, especially for American craft beers, which are not my favorite thing. I really like a lot of theirs, and that says something. So I have a lot of respect for New Belgium. They have a brown ale called, I believe it's 1554, that's really good. This is tough. Both are they can be fatiguing because of that strong flavor. There's only so much sourness I can take. Bitterness. I'm not, you guys know me, that's not my favorite. I don't like bitterness. I wouldn't call these overly bitter beers. But the finish kind of hits you rather strong. It gets like, the more you drink them, the more bitter. I think this would depend on my mood. Get more water here. This is a toughie. Alright, so the Unibroue probably has more flavor. And the New Belgian is smoother. So that might depend on what you prefer. The New Belgium is not as thick on the body, at least the way I experience it. So it is smoother. Some might say more watery. But it's not necessarily a bad thing for me. Oh, man. It's getting tough. This is a battle I would actually really appreciate someone else's input. I think for the style, I'm going to have to give it to La Fin du Monde, even though I probably often would prefer the New Belgium because of it's more drinkable and less fatiguing. But if I'm being honest about the style, I think this probably is a more representative sample of the style. So I'm going to narrowly give it to La Fin du Monde. But considering it's ranked number 2 in the world, I think you should give New Belgium a shot. All right, take care. See you next time.